Good evening and welcome to the Adrian Tinsley Center, where tonight the BSU women's basketball team is taking on Salem State. And this is a rare opportunity here for both teams to see a lot of each other. I am John Luck along with Caitlin Varia. And Caitlin, the reason I say that is because these two teams are facing each other 2 times in a span of 24 hours.
Absolutely, and we're seeing that actually from Salem more often. They just came off of doing that with another team as well, and they will be doing it again after with Fitzgerald State in just next week. So it's going to definitely be an interesting season lineup for Salem.
After playing back-to-back games against Worcester State, the Vikings are dealing with some schedule jumbling, as everybody is here in 2022. Meanwhile, for Bridgewater State, rotation is going to be a very key part of how Bridget Casey plays this game, I think.
Absolutely, and I think just kind of keeping strong players out on the court, and then also just making sure that everybody stays together, everybody keeps chemistry, because you can see in some of their older games, there are brief moments where the team just kind of loses sight of what they're doing, and then they manage to get back, but they need to kind of avoid that little slump they get into.
BSU looking for a full 40-minute effort, and we'll have it for you here on the Bear Sports Network and BTV, but right now we step aside for the national anthem here at the Tinsley Center. Nothing beats conference basketball in the month of February. That's when you know things are getting real here. And taking a look at the starting lineup for the Bears: Caroline Tripp, Kylie Grassy, Sydney Bradbury, Janice Avellino, and Hannah Jeddick. Meanwhile, on the other side for Salem State, Julia Matera, Kylie Gates, Katie Wallace, Arianis Delgado, and Liz Zader, who I think is going to be a big problem here for Bridget Casey, because Zader has just gone off as far as the offensive part of her game goes.
Absolutely, she leads the team in points, rebounds, and blocks per game. And another big name for them is going to be Kylie Gates, who leads in assists and steals. She's going to also be a big person that the Bears are going to have to look out for.
Zader, in the last game against Worcester State back on Friday night, that was a 2-point loss to the Lancers, 22 points and 11 rebounds. Salem State coming into this game at 3-14. They gave Worcester State, who's hanging around the 500 mark, a very difficult time. And these are very important games. We'll get to why as the playoff situation here in the MASCAC has changed. As all these teams jockeying for position, we are off and running here at the Tinsley Center. As Gates passes off to Matera, picked up by Bradbury. Here's Delgado again, finding Matera on the near side. Baseline drive, too strong. Put back off the glass will fall for Zader in the early two. Grassy finds Bradbury at the top. Here's Grassy, passes off for Jiddick. Back to Bradbury, lets a three fly. And gets the Tinsley center bounce.
Kylie Grassy is also the leader in three-pointers for the team, so it's not completely out of this world to see her sinking one.
Long shot on the way. That's a three that'll fall from Matera. Not exactly sure if Bridgewater State wants to try and go shot for shot from the three-point line. These Vikings aren't afraid to let it fly.
Yeah, Bears do have a lot of three-point abilities here on their team. Hannah Jiddick holds the school record right now with 75 three-pointers made in a season last season. So I wouldn't be shocked if they kind of keep lining up like that.
Avellino hit the last shot for Bridgewater State. Here's Bradbury bringing it up. To Tripp going inside. Nice put back there by Avellino. Trying to find her role here in the BSU offense. Momentarily turned over. Stays Salem State ball. Salem State looking for their first win against Bridgewater State since January 17th, 2017. Led by Ashley White in her second season. Wallace going inside to Zader, forcing her way in for two over Avellino. Tied at 7 early on here at BSU. Rebound goes to Matera. Gates cross-course pass to Wallace. And that's going to be picked off and thrown away. And it will be Vikings ball.
It looks like that was Kylie Grassy getting the steal for the Bears. She was named recently last week's MASCAC's Women's Basketball Rookie of the Year after her amazing performance the last game versus Fitchburg State. Last home game, versus Fitchburg State, where the Bears trampled the Falcons to win 97-42. She also leads the team in steals along with Caroline Tripp.
Some discussion over the shot clock there, but after Grassy sent that out of bounds, a resetting here. So fresh 30 for Salem State. The defense buckling down here in the early going, tipped out by Tripp. Tara passes off for Delgado. Rather inside to Zader. Too strong there, gets her own rebound. That one's going to be short for Delgado. BSU takes it back the other way. I have to ask you about the point guard situation here because Kylie Peachy is coming back from an injury. She isn't starting, and she's typically been the starting point guard here. But the fact that she's not in the lineup, does that kind of help BSU as far as that rotation situation that we were talking about at the start? Because, again, 2 games in 2 days against the same team.
Absolutely, and I think they might be waiting to see what Salem State has to bring before putting Peachy in. Like you said, she is coming off an injury. She is kind of back. I think it's not imperceptible that she will be in the next game, but I think also these starters have really had a great chemistry built up between them over this past season, and I think kind of wanting to keep that going for a little bit might be in the Bears' best interest.
BSU's women's team 10-7 coming into this MASCAC matchup. Gabby Torres came in at the last whistle. She has the ball right now for Salem State, finds Zader. Matera has to take it and hits it. That's a 3.
Again, Gabby Torres with the 3. She is also the leader in 3-point scoring per game for the Vikings.
Salem State coming into this game second to last in the MASCAC as far as 3-point field goal percentage goes. Coming away with the loose ball, that was Wallace, and Gates takes it across the timeline. Zader, just beyond the free throw line, gets a pair. Someone that realistically could be in the running for MASCAC Women's Basketball Player of the Year, Liz Zader. I believe averaging around a double-double. Get those stats in just a minute here as Sydney Bradbury picks up a couple.
Yeah, she averages 14 3-points per game and 9.7 rebounds per game. It'll definitely be interesting to see how she takes on the rest of the season as a big leader on Salem's team. And as just a junior, she definitely has a lot to give for this school still.
Avellino's going to pick up the foul. And we'll see Destiny Fitzgerald checking in, along with Ariel Cleveland for BSU.
Yeah, Fitzgerald is a big name for the Bears. It's good to see her in the game. She holds the school record for most points scored in a game with 43 points versus Westfield State.
Gabby Torres makes a 14-9 game. Here's Grassy going inside, too strong. Right now, BSU shooting 75% from the field. That was tipped, so Gates can get it. Wallace on the drive. Gets fouled. I believe that's going to be Grassy picking up the foul with 4:54 to go in the first. Katie Wallace, one of 3 seniors on the Vikings. They also have 3 juniors as well.
They also have a much shorter roster than pretty much any other team I've seen in the MASCAC so far. Bridgewater, I believe, has 4 more players than them.
And 2 relatively young squads here. Bridgewater State, I believe, has maybe a couple more seniors than Salem State at first glance. Tripp going inside the paint, trying to bank it off the glass, can't get it. It's a fall. Rebound goes to Zader. On the drive, that was partially blocked by Fitzgerald. Taking it back the other way. Here's Olivia Jiddick, lost it. Six-point Vikings lead here in the first quarter. 3 on the way for Torres, won't fall. Bradbury dumps it off for Jiddick. Bradbury on the drive, gets the friendly roll. And a timeout called by Ashley White with her Lady Vikings up by 4, 15-11. And I mentioned before the tip-off that this game holds 11 points from a seeding standpoint, and that's because it just was announced by the MASCAC earlier this week, I think actually yesterday on February 1st, that all the teams will make the MASCAC tournament The first seed, the top seed in the NASCAR will receive a bye. Then in the first round, you have 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, and 4 versus 5. Of course, here in 2022 and 2021, the scheduling just got to be too hectic, as is the case with a lot of D2 and D3 conferences. But this kind of gives a new life to some of these teams that are below 500 that are trying to work out some things, and it gives you a little bit of extra practice time as well. And now BSU entering tonight's game in the 4 seed, if the season were to end tonight. Here's Matera. Baseline drive. Floater fell short. Zeta there trying to pick things up. And Fitzgerald ends up with a rebound. Tripp on the drive. Dumps it off for Fitzgerald. A clean look off the glass.
Looks like it's out of bounds on Bradbury. It doesn't seem like the Bears are really bothering as much with keeping the ball in bounds and keeping possession as much as they're just trying to disrupt the Vikings' play. And they're kind of hitting it away. They're playing a very aggressive game, and it's kind of cool to see.
Delgado checking in for Zader for Salem State. Dicey pass inside to the goal. Blocked from behind by Tripp. Fitzgerald back to Bradbury. Lets the 3 fly, too strong. And the ball finds Matera. Torres goes baseline. That's going to be off the mark. Second effort doesn't fall. Fitzgerald might have caught Delgado in the face. Back the other way. BSU had the numbers. Cleveland picking things up, going off the glass. And we get a official's timeout here. Looks like Delgado took a shot to the left eye. We'll see Zader check in. Not a fun way to spend a Wednesday night getting slapped in the face.
Absolutely not.
Or any night, I think. But
yeah, it is what they sign up for when they join the team, though.
Again, the press put on by BSU. Zader going inside, off the glass, getting the roll. That's Wallace. Salem State shooting 33% from the field. We get a foul. BSU shooting 50%. Foul going on Matera. Caroline Tripp at the line. Had 3 points last week against Framingham State. Second one is short. Going inside the final 2 minutes of this first quarter. A 2-point advantage for the visitors. Blocked by Cleveland. They're showing the pace as Grassy on the flyby gets the pair. Zader was left uncontested, but couldn't get the ball cleanly. And we get a foul with 1:29 to go. And you have to wonder how long BSU can realistically go with these full court presses and clamping down on the defense, because they've been flying everywhere on the court in this first quarter.
Yeah, and it looks like the Vikings are taking a more conservative game, and they're not putting all that pressure on the Bears as much as they can, even leaving Zader kind of letting her stay in the offensive end a little longer and not forcing her back into defense as quickly as possibly she should. And it's kind of leaving them a little vulnerable to some offensive moves by the Bears.
Still a one-possession game. Fitzgerald over Zader. That should be a fun matchup as we go on here in this game. Nonetheless, we're tied at 19 apiece. There's what you were talking about there. A little bit of vulnerability by the BSU defense. As Delgado gives the Vikings the advantage. Fitzgerald was looking for Chittick, but Cleveland gets loose ball.
Cleveland just can't keep it in. In warm-ups today, you can definitely see the energy, and a lot of that coming from Cleveland for the Bears. She was really a sense of hype for the whole team, even centering and showing some moves in a big circle with them to get everyone ready for the game.
Ainsley Jolin and Kylie Pesci checked in for BSU as we have 32.7 seconds to go in the first quarter. And that'll be Matera picking up the foul. Or rather, Grassy. A 2-second differential between the two clocks. A three on the way. That's good for Torres. Bridgewater State can hold on for the last shot. Inside to Fitzgerald. Can't get the bounce in. And it's a 5-point game after 1 quarter of play here at the Tinsley Center. A physically dominating first quarter here for both teams. I mean, I didn't expect to see the defensive play that we've seen from both sides so far.
Absolutely, and like I said, I think the Vikings are kind of playing in a different style than the Bears expected, and they weren't really ready to take that on as they are leaving Zader kind of open for the long pass. But I think they're handling it pretty well. They're playing very aggressive, both defensively, and I think they could just get a little bit more aggressive on the offense as well.
Salem State shooting 40% from the field. Meanwhile, 75% from the three-point line. Bridgewater State only 1 of 2. I had to imagine that's what Bridget Casey wants to see, that mid-range game, get the ball inside to Fitzgerald, and whatever happens at that point.
Absolutely, and I think Bears really need to focus also a little bit more on just getting under the net in the offense. So far, the Vikings have taken a good amount of the offensive rebounds while the Bears really haven't taken any. Right now we're only seeing 1 from them, and I've seen them have more. They can do more, and I hope to see it in this quarter coming out.
Let's see some of the sights here at Bridgewater State. Students coming back on campus a couple weeks ago. And there was a time when not a lot of people were allowed in the Tinsley Center. Those restrictions are starting to ease a little bit, so great to see a crowd coming in watching a basketball game here on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, and speaking with Hannah Jiddick before the game, she said this is their first game with spectators back after that brief pause where no one could come in to watch the games, and she said she was just really hoping for a big crowd, and it looks like she got that tonight, and she has to have a smile on her face watching that crowd pile in and cheer for them.
Always good to see a crowd here at Bridgewater State. Still a few more games to take in if you're watching and want to come here to the Tinsley Center. Jolin finds Tripp. Some quick ball moving here. Pesci, the runner, is a little strong off the back of the rim. A +6 advantage for Salem State on the boards, 14-8 in that first quarter. Off balance shot off the mark there for Torres. Looking for the loose ball. And this will be Joel, and that comes up. Get a timeout actually called by Bridget Casey.
Yeah, it looked like they saw Zader coming in and just kind of wanted to eliminate the possibility of an offensive opportunity there for the Vikings.
See, Ashley White mentioned this is her second season, and she impressed the Salem State Athletic Director, Nicole Wood, and was officially named the head coach back in July after she stepped up to help navigate the team through the challenges of the pandemic. And the AD said that she demonstrated leadership skills critical for that position. And White said that returning to coach the Vikings was a dream of hers. She graduated in 2014, and that she had a great experience as a student athlete and as a coach, and she hopes that she can do the same for her players. As we're starting to see more and more coaching be more important off the court as it is on the court as well. Put back a little strong for Avellino. Zeta looking for the ball on the near side. Bradbury almost came with loose ball. This time she does, leading the charge. Will get fouled.
Bradbury being a big name for the Bears, getting those free throws here. And fun fact, she is the sister of the Bradbury who sang the national anthem today.
I thought that name sounded familiar.
Yeah, and you could see at the end when she was hitting the long notes, Bradbury was absolutely proud. You could see her with a big smile on her face.
Definitely an awesome performance. Always good to hear the national anthem live, and a great performer there before the game. And Bradbury makes it a 3-point game, 24-21. Delgado passes off for Torres. Tries a three off the mark. Rebound to Jolin. Peachy off the baseline. Jolin short on the three. Matera takes it back for Salem State. There's that defense clamping down for Bridgewater State. Jolin tried dumping off for Avellino. Ends up being a turnover. Pretty clean first quarter plus for both teams. Only 7 combined turnovers. 4 for Salem State and now 3 for BSU.
We have Katie Wallace for the Vikings coming in, the senior out of Peabody. Now with the ball.
Going inside for Zader. Blocked by Peachy from behind. Second effort was too strong. White wanted the foul. And Delgado will get the foul. But we could hear Ashley White trying to work the referees because she thought Zader was fouled from either Avellino or Peachy. Joel going inside for Avellino. Get a jump ball. And it'll be Salem State basketball, 7:23 to go in the first half. Alyssa Hennis coming into the game. And Delgado checking out. This is game one of a doubleheader. We'll see the men's squads coming up a little bit later on here tonight. 7:30 tip-off here on the Bear Sports Network. And get a jump ball for BSU.
You really see the Bears are not hesitating to go after it in the defense, and it's kind of refreshing to see. They've always been a pretty aggressive team, but this is on a different level than they have been the rest of the season.
Tripp lost the handle, so a turnover. I have to imagine how important defense was after that game last Friday night, as BSU allowed 48 points in the second half as Zader picks up a couple. And thus far, allowing 26 points, only down by 5. And Avellino call for steps.
You can see not too long ago, I believe it was on the last Bears possession, Coach White for the Vikings was kind of mad at the refs for not calling what possibly should have been a traveling call on Avellino, so they might have just been keeping a stronger eye out on that.
Zader, long 2 doesn't go. Taken back the other way, Bradbury going inside. Bradbury tries a 3, short. Ball finds Zader going inside, 6 minutes to go in the first half. Good ball movement, finds Matera. Can't connect on the 3. Bradbury off the stop and go. Nice drive. So far tonight, Bradbury 9 points. And adds another possession here for BSU. Here's Hennon Chittick. Cleveland tries a 3 strong. BSU only connecting on 1 3-pointer so far, 1 of 5 from long range. That 3 won't go. Bit of a cold stretch here for both teams, 26-23. Cleveland on the drive, banks it off the glass. And a timeout called by Ashley White, as this is now a 1-point game, 26-25. I got concerned when people come over here thinking we're official people. So you mentioned the roster size of Salem State. They're actually missing 1 player. Her name is Erica Cheever. She was supposed to be playing her sophomore season this year for the Vikings, but she's out after surgery on her right knee following a car accident, including a dislocated knee, nerve damage, major fractures to the knee. And this came after her freshman season, of course, was canceled due to the pandemic. Cheever, a 4.0 student at Salem State's nursing program, and was a 1,000-point scorer, averaging 25 points a game in high school in Revere. Obviously, a young team here at Salem State. They can use all the help they can get, and unfortunately, Erica Cheever going through a rough stretch the first 2 seasons. Hope to see her back next year as she tries to work her way back to the court.
Absolutely, and I think somebody, another strong player for Salem could definitely also kind of change up the whole strategy of the game for them. They could really pin her up with Zader and kind of work back and forth and become a strong force in conference, definitely.
Here's Zader, tries a long 2. Again, that's going to be strong. As Aaron Rice checked in at the last whistle for BSU. Seeing some relatively new names in for BSU over the past few games as Fitzgerald adds a pair. Now has 6 points on the evening. Pulling up, that's Matera. It's going to be short. And get a foul on Zader. Thought it was going to be a jump ball there for a second.
Looked like Zader thought so too.
Bridgewater State, 12 of 26 from the field. That's 46%. Salem State cooling off, 29% from the field, 9 of 31 shooting. Fitzgerald double team, turns it over. Gates taking it back for Salem State. 3-second call. Don't hear that a lot in D3. Trip going inside, taken away by Wallace. Coming up on 3 minutes to go in the first half, a 1-point game. 3 on the way, gonna be long. Put back by Zader will go. Zader now into double figures, 10 points. Fitzgerald again, there's a double team. I think that may be how Ashley White's going to play this game now. If you get Fitzgerald underneath the basket, go for that double team.
Absolutely, and I think the Bears originally came out to this quarter thinking they were going to beat the Vikings on speed. And I think when they weren't getting as much results on that, they were just kind of focusing on getting to the net, getting stronger, and maybe gaining possession for just a little bit more time than they had last time.
Destiny Fitzgerald averaging 8.6 a game. Goes 1 for 2 at the line, evened up at 28 apiece. Aneli Lorenzo, number 21, in for Salem State. Lorenzo back to Gates. Lorenzo long two. That was blocked by Cleveland. Tripp finds Cleveland. Back to Rice. Cleveland inside to Fitzgerald. Inside 10 on the shot clock. Second effort will fall for Fitzgerald. Gates back to Matera. Gets it back. Gates tries a three. Strong. And Salem State 3 of 9 from the three-point line. Trip the baseline drive. Fitzgerald, the turnaround.
I believe that's putting Destiny Fitzgerald also in double digits there for points.
Tied with Bradbury now for 11 points. To go along with 4 rebounds. Zader up and under, count it, and 1. Now 12 points on the night for number 23.
Also with 8 points as well to her name. Very likely she'll walk out of here with the double-double.
Was Zader last Friday night, 22 points along with 11 rebounds. And a 2-point win for Worcester State over Salem State. All right, for Chittick, a dicey pass. BSU should see the ball one more time before the end of the first half. Cleveland tries a three. That'll go right before the shot clock buzzer. Lorenzo for Torres. And we get a foul with 17.2 to go, and this will be a shooting foul going on Aaron Rice. I thought it was a shooting foul, but apparently side out.
Looks like there was a little bit of confusion there from players and coaches as well, thinking they was going to be shooting.
So Salem State could hold on for the final shot, but they try jumping the gun, and Zader gets called for steps. Final 10 seconds. Cleveland going inside. And it's a 4-point BSU lead at halftime. And I think if you're a BSU fan and if you're Bridget Case, you have to like what you saw in this first half. The team in the first quarter just going off the hook as far as the defensive style goes because they were flying everywhere.
Absolutely, and I think they're really starting to figure out the style in which Salem State plays and really kind of countering that as strong as they can, which is not only going to help them today, it's going to help them in about 24 hours when they go off against this team again.
Zader had 13 points in the first half for Salem State. Destiny Fitzgerald, Sydney Bradbury, 11 points apiece, but right now the numbers that really matter for both teams, BSU on top, 35-31 here on the Bear Sports Network, powered by BTV. Caitlin Varia, and there we go. I think I can be heard. I mean, it's probably better off I'm not heard, but anyways, 4-point game as we take a look at the halftime stats, and this has been a pretty back and forth game here, Caitlin.
Absolutely. I think Salem State, even though having a worse record than BSU, hasn't been letting it show. They've really been keeping with them, and Bears have been coming out with speed. They've been coming out with aggression, but Salem is absolutely matching that, and in some cases doing more.
Let's see there, BSU shooting 50% from the field, 33.3% from three-point land. And Salem State, at some point, you have to think it comes down to shot selection here for Ashley White's team.
And I definitely see Bears are taking a little bit fewer 3-point shots than they usually do. And I'm not sure if that's because they're kind of trying to play a little bit lower or if they're just trying to kind of focus on making the stronger passing game, but they have been kind of keeping it a little bit more lax on their 3-point game.
You saw in the rebounds 21-20 in favor of Salem State at the end of the first quarter. I believe it was a +4 or +5 as far as the rebounding advantage goes. So the Bears certainly fighting for those second chance opportunities. In the first half, it's Liz Zader leading all scorers with 13 points on 6 of 13 shooting to go along with 8 rebounds. For Bridgewater State, Destiny Fitzgerald and Sydney Bradbury with 11 points each. Ariel Cleveland, 7 points on 3 of 4 shooting. Inside to Zader. Had to pass that before she got the traveling violation called. Gates back to Zader, a long two out the front of the rim. Bradbury pushes up ahead. Virgitic hits it off the glass. Virgidic's first points of the night. Makes a 6-point lead for BSU. Delgado strong. Bradbury, corner 3 on the way for Virgitic. It's going to be short. Ball finds Bradbury. Bradbury on the drive. Strong rebound goes to Zader.
We're seeing the Bears kind of keeping Avellino or Destiny Fitzgerald on Zader on the offensive opportunity, and Avellino's given her a lot more room to play with than Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald's right up with her. Avellino's kind of giving her space so she can make her way up. And it's interesting to see the two different styles of play go at it.
Saw there on the last possession, Avellino with a block, a clean block off the head of Zader. As Kylie Grassy goes to the line. As you heard Caitlin mention earlier, named the MASCAC Rookie of the Week a couple weeks ago.
And Kylie Grassy also definitely the best free throw contender for this Bears team.
(39-31). First couple minutes of the second half. And they're going to get Avellino with the foul, her second.
And I believe both of those were for traveling, too.
Zader strong on the shot. Looking for the second effort. And this is the basket completely. Grassy trying to force the issue. It stays BSU ball. Bradbury had a wide open look at a three, goes inside, takes the easy two. Bradbury now 13 points on the night, of 5 of 9 shooting. Zader and one.
Third quarters typically for the Bears is what kind of leads them to letting up the most points. So far, it looks like they're not following in that trend, but not sure if they're going to stick with that, too.
Zader misses the point after. She dominated the last 4 games. 3 of her last 4 games, Liz Zader has had 20-plus points. 3 on the way for Bradbury, doesn't go, going to be short. So far, Zader has 15. Gates finds Matera. Gets a Delgado screen. Three on the way for Wallace. Won't go. Delgado gets the second effort. Trip shot's going to be strong. Salem State can make this a one-possession game with a 3. Matera from just beyond the free throw line connects, makes it a 4-point game. Destiny Fitzgerald and Ariel Cleveland going to be checking in at the next stoppage, along with Olivia Chittick. Get a foul on Delgado. Fitzgerald, right as she caught it, gets 2. Matera for Wallace. Wallace strong.
Looks like Cleveland got a little bit of that and sent it off target right there for her.
Bradbury can't find the basket for the 3. Cleveland follows it up. Cleveland now 9 points. Going inside and a foul. We'll see Gabby Torres going to the line to shoot 2. We'll get Cleveland for the foul. Peachy will check in. Right now on the floor for BSU, it's Grassy, Fitzgerald, Cleveland, Olivia Jeddick, and Peachy. Grassy on the drive.
Vikings really gave her just a clear lane on that one right there.
And you mentioned earlier how important she can be, as, again, it's worth noting that these two teams are going to play in less than 24 hours. It bears repeating because we don't really see that every day. 2 conference foes going head-to-head back-to-back days. As Matera finds the bottom of the basket, makes it a 6-point game. Jeddick strong on the 3. And a foul given by Fitzgerald. And it looked like Wallace was just trying to find the foul more than anything else as she was spinning around.
Yeah, and you can see Fitzgerald, I guess she does reach in there, but doesn't really get much hold of the ball either.
That's just Fitzgerald's first foul. Really no foul trouble to speak of, just Delgado with 3 for Salem State, Avellino with 3 fouls for BSU, and a travel for Zader.
Seeing some pressure from the Vikings there from number 22, Gabby Torres.
Jeddick for Cleveland. Gets it back. Grassy comes up empty. The 9th BSU turnover. Salem State not too far behind with 8. Going inside, looking for Zader, and again, you saw that double team on Liz Zader that I think is essential for any team playing Salem State. Torres pulls up, comes up short. Zader will go to the line. Zader, a 66% free throw shooter. And so far tonight, 1 for 2.
I think the Bears are kind of making sure that their Avellino and Fitzgerald don't get too many fouls, because they're kind of the ones who are going toe-to-toe with Zader right now. And she only has 1 foul to her name, too, and I think kind of keeping them in the game is going to be a real priority for the Bears. (47-43). Again, this is game 1 of a doubleheader. We'll see the men's teams take the floor coming up at 7:30 on the Bear Sports Network. Grassy for Fitzgerald. Inside 10 on the shot clock. Peachy finds Cleveland. Back to Grassy. Just before the shot clock buzzer.
Grassy now 8 points. A balanced scoring output for BSU. Zader hits though really long too. Adds on to her total tonight, now 19. I believe that's the 4th foul on Delgado. Jolin in as well as Tripp. Cleveland can't find the bottom of the basket on the 3. Gates takes it up for Salem State. Inside, nice pass and a nice finish for Liz Zader. Just like that, a 1-possession game, and Salem State is in the bonus. Corner 3, or actually it's a long 2 that Jolin misses on. Bridgewater State now just under 47% from the field. Started the second half at 50%. And just like that, we got a new ball game, 49 all. Tripp on the drive. There to pick things up, that is Ariel Cleveland, who now has 11. The 3rd Bears player in double figures. As we enter the final 60 seconds of the 3rd quarter. 3 misses the mark, but Zader there to pick things up. Now 23 points, 14 rebounds for number 23 for Salem State. Jolin gets fouled.
Cleveland has really been a big player in this quarter so far, kind of, as you see right there, kind of going for the ball, almost getting it. And she's just a freshman out of Groveland, Massachusetts. Wouldn't be surprised if she becomes a star player within the next few years.
Especially as you start thinking about Destiny Fitzgerald graduating at the end of the year, along with Maggie Hester, who we've typically seen in the paint as well. So kind of that youth movement that we're used to seeing, especially in college basketball. Should see Avellino before the end of the 3rd quarter for Bridgewater State. And this misses the 2. And it stays Vikings ball with just under 29 seconds left on the shot clock.
And we have Cleveland coming out for Avellino.
Avellino 3 fouls. $53 all. Final 15 seconds of the 3rd quarter. On the drive, Jordan Lako getting her first minutes of the night. Game clock down to 5. Jolin inside, Avellino beats the clock. Janice Avellino makes it a 55-53 game. And Caitlin, you talked about how Bridgewater State defensively has had a past of letting their foot off the pedal as far as that 3rd quarter goes. I think right now Bridget Casey has to take what she's getting with 2-point advantage.
Absolutely, I think so. And I think, like I said, it's they did kind of let up a lot more. Like in the 2nd quarter, they only let up 7 points. And in this one, they let up 22. Big difference, but in the 1st quarter, they let up 24. So as much as it's kind of they took their foot off the gas a little bit defensively. They didn't do that offensively and scored the most points they've gotten all game in that quarter. And I think we're going to see them kind of keep up that energy and that drive and hopefully kind of improve off the defensive game as well.
Mentioned earlier about the Mascak playoff situation. All the teams are going to make the playoffs and may have an upset brewing in the women's standings as Framingham State coming into tonight's action undefeated in Mascak play. They're currently up by 5 with 7:48 to go in the fourth quarter. Meanwhile, MCLA beat Fitchburg State 66-59. As those two teams jockeying for a position at the bottom of the Mascak standings. Again, Bridgewater State entering tonight's game at 2-2. So right now they would host a first-round game if everything stayed status quo, but still a month to go and a lot to figure out. Tripp on the drive. It's too strong on the roll. Torres was blocked from behind by Avellino. Quick pass inside to Hennis. Baco goes inside to Avellino. Right now it's just turning into a Salem State game of pickup. Stolen by Tripp. Fouled. Fouled by Torres.
Zader checking out. Caroline Tripp, the sophomore out of Plymouth, has really been a great lead on this team for this game. Almost playing the entire game, I think.
Avellino's 2 efforts won't fall. Again, that's interesting to think about when you have a game less than 24 hours from now. We thought minutes would be something that both coaches would look at, but here's Liz Zader playing most of the game, as is Caroline Tripp. So very important. Avellino just picked up her 4th foul, and we'll see Fitzgerald in. You have to wonder if Salem State maybe targets Avellino on this possession, just get her out of the game altogether. Luckily for BSU, they do get the substitution. And that's up and under. And that'll be Delgado's foul.
Delgado, I think, racking up 4 fouls with that.
That was close to a travel by Grassy. They go inside to Fitzgerald, who's going to be short. Rebound number 16 for Zader. And the 10th Salem State turnover turns into, I thought it was going to be 2 for Laco. It'll be Bradbury going to the line with 13 points.
I believe that was a foul off of number 3, Julia Matera, the senior out of Arlington, Massachusetts.
That one took a while to figure out what it wanted to do. These two teams can't really find separation in this game. I don't think we've had a lead of 10 or more points.
Yeah, I think the biggest lead was when the Bears kind of early in the third quarter were leading by 10, but didn't stay for too long.
Fitzgerald, nice dump off there for Grassy, but too strong on the attempt. BSU 24 of 58 from the field. Long 2 for Gates. Makes it a 1-point game once again. See Wallace check in at the next whistle. Bradbury lets it fly. And that could be a costly turnover for Salem State. Coming up on 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Grassy hits the 2. And a timeout called by Bridgewater State, who now have a 3-point advantage after that big 2 by number 3.
Kylie Grassy having a great game so far. She typically isn't the one shooting far from the outside, and so far she's been doing it a lot more, and it's paying off for her.
Kylie Grassy, 10 points on the night. Again, the game leader for points is Liz Zader, 23 and 17. A simple night for number 23 for Salem State. But for Bridgewater State, I mentioned the balanced scoring attack. Is this something that you've seen from Bridgewater State throughout this conference season so far?
Absolutely. They have a lot of really strong, like, as I said, their team is really strong together, and I think kind of having a kind of almost equal ground, and like we've seen a lot of stars in this program, like Sydney Bradbury's really kind of the name player for them, but all the others are not far behind in any way. They all kind of really make everything even, and it's kind of their signature trade kind of thing, because you can see on a lot of other games, all other teams just have like the big star hitting all the marks, and I think Bridgewater having a few really great players is really paying off for them.
Going inside for Cleveland. I think that was blocked, but it's kind of a sense of irony because last Friday night, BSU only had, I believe, one player in double figures, and they allowed 5 Framingham State players who all played 37-plus minutes to have double figures. Delgado gets her second one to go. Grassy can't find the baskets. Now Salem State can take the lead on this possession halfway through the fourth quarter.
You can kind of see, especially on that last defensive play for the Bears, Fitzgerald kind of seems to be holding off a little bit more. She's not playing as aggressive as she originally started, and I think that might be in part that Avellino has those 4 fouls to her name, and she doesn't want to have both her and Avellino kind of racking those numbers up.
Right now, Fitzgerald has 2 fouls and Cleveland has 2 fouls. Really, the only player in foul trouble is Avellino. I thought Delgado was in foul trouble for a while, but according to the stats, has 3. Gates going inside to the aforementioned Delgado. Long two for Zader, falls short, and right idea there by Caroline Tripp, but unfortunate execution. Hard screen by Delgado as the three won't go. Bridgewater State can take this inside of 4 minutes on this possession. Inside to Cleveland, and one.
It's going to be a foul for Zader. I believe her third foul for the night.
Back to a two-possession game. Again, just inside of 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
That's also going to climb Cleveland up to getting 14 points for the night so far, tying her with Sydney Bradbury for most points of the game for the Bears.
There's the defense showing up for number 42. Tripp finds Cleveland. Fitzgerald, mid-range jumper, a little strong. Bounce pass to Matera. Comes up empty. Bradbury pushing back the other way for BSU. Grassy fouled by Wallace. And worse still for Salem State, it is a two-possession game, whether or not the free throws fall, as BSU is in the bonus with 3:09 to go.
Yeah, and that's Katie Wallace getting her third foul of the night.
Looks like we're going to see Avellino checking in. As you see Kylie Grassy, who averages about 7 points a game, and so far tonight has 11. A freshman from Plymouth, Mass. Strong on the second one, so a 5-point advantage for BSU going inside of 3 minutes to go. Zader over Fitzgerald off the front of the rim. Bradbury and Bridgewater State looking to kill off a little bit of clock. Grassy off balance, too strong. And Ashley White's going to call a timeout with 2:40 to go. And her Vikings down by 5, 64-59.
Seeing assistant coach right there talking to Zader for the Vikings, giving her some advice to kind of not do things just for herself, kind of keeping tat with their team and kind of working with everyone else as well as putting up her numbers.
As you saw, Bristico having a fun time on a Wednesday night. I mean, he's waving that pom-pom very vigorously.
We also got the BSU band back after a few games of not having anyone in the stands, so it's great to kind of have that volume back. It's a little strange having a quiet gym for these games.
And even called games here at BSU during a lot of these empty arena games, if you will. I mean, obviously there's a lot of fans here. There's a different atmosphere, but you've called empty games. You've called games, obviously, with a crowd. What are some of the differences you've seen as far as how the game flows?
I think it's just kind of the Bears it gets a little kind of down in the dumps when there's no one here. There's no like everyone gets excited, but they kind of have to rely on their team for all the excitement. And you can see it brings them all together, but at the same time, you can't keep that energy going the same as when you have a crowd cheering for you.
Very important few possessions here for Salem State. That pass too tall for Delgado. And one thing you can ill afford here if you are Salem State is turnovers, especially with 2:22 to go. That is turnover number 15 for Salem State. Bradbury finds Tripp. Final 2 minutes of play here in the fourth quarter. Bradbury up and under, can't get the finish. Torres finds Matera, misses the important three. And it'll be Bridgewater State ball with 1:44 to go.
It looked like it might have gone off of Zader's knee right there as she was contesting Jiddick for that possession.
Jiddick misses the jumper. Big possession here offensively for Salem State before you have to potentially think about fouling. As Tripp comes up with a rebound. 3 on the way for Bradbury. Doesn't go. Final 60 seconds of regulation. Matera throws up a prayer that falls short. Stolen. Delgado off the glass. 64-61.
Coach is there for the Vikings calling off the press.
And a timeout by Bridget Casey.
Really interesting to see how both teams are still keeping out so many of their strongest players. Like Vikings have had Julia Matera, Kylie Gates, and Liz Zader playing almost the entire game. And same with on the Bears side, keeping in Caroline Tripp, Marissa Bradbury, kind of just always staying in the game, which is not at all what we expected with this 24-hour window.
I almost wonder how much of the mental aspect comes in here, because if you lose this game, maybe you feel that added pressure tomorrow night and overcompensate on some of the defensive effort.
Absolutely.
So perhaps these teams are approaching this as a playoff game. As you mentioned earlier, Salem State has practice with these situations. They played Worcester in a back-to-back situation. They're playing Bridgewater State, obviously, in a back-to-back situation. I think they have another one in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I think they're playing Fitchburg, I think at the end of this week, actually.
Grassy guarded by Gates. 25 seconds, 5 on the shot clock. Bradbury short and a shot clock violation. And Ashley White's going to call a timeout with 18.8 to go. So I could be mistaken, but I think the ball actually comes up to basically right in front of the table here where we are. So really time isn't an issue here with 18.8. If you're Ashley White, I mean, do you start thinking about some of those what ifs? If you miss the shot, is there kind of that follow there? Because you'd imagine Liz Zader's going to play a key role in this possession.
Absolutely, and I think kind of they're going to try, as much as it's a three-point game, I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of go for the outside, then focus on inside and just keep driving it to the out, getting it to the 13 three-point line. And I think they're going to use Zader as kind of their vehicle for getting the ball to that outside line from inside.
Salem State 3 of 13 from the three-point line. Matera 2 for 5. Torres 1 for 4. And it'll be Gabby Torres inbounding here with Laco guarding her. Zader. Torres blocked by Laco from behind.
Might have been a game-saving move there by Laco.
Down to 10 seconds. The runner for Gates is going to be short. Delgado will get fouled.
Foul is going to be called on number 22, Jordan Laco, junior out of Attleboro.
Delgado tonight, 8 points, 12 boards, as Bradbury's coming in for Laco. Looks like Bridget Casey's going to call a timeout, make or miss after the second free throw. Delgado, a 60% free throw shooter, misses the second one. It'll be BSU ball, and I think Salem State may have a case, but of course, if you're a Bears fan, you're going to take what you can get here with 6.2.
Absolutely.
Bridget Casey calls a timeout.
It's a one-possession game here.
Now, I think that did go off of Zader.
This could be a really, really important press here by the Vikings. The way they approach this may make or break the game for them.
Looks like it's Delgado, Gates, Matera, Torres, and Zader out for Salem State with 6.2 to go. We'll have the men's game coming up for you in about a half hour here on the Bear Sports Network. As the anticipation builds, we had a great rendition of Baby Shark. The night's complete already. Looks like it'll be Cleveland, Tripp, Avellino, Bradbury, and Kylie Grassy inbounding the ball. And Zader's going to guard her on the inbound pass. Into Cleveland and a foul. A big 2 free throws coming up here for Ariel Cleveland, the freshman. Of course, one made free throw if you're Salem State or a fan of Salem State is all right. Still a one-possession game. 2, it may be time for trouble. So it looks like Salem State does have a timeout, which could prove important, potentially. Friendly bounce for the Groveland, Mass native. And a one-possession game. Timeout Salem State, 4.8 to go.
Be really interesting to see how the Vikings go up against this with only about 5 seconds left in the game. It'll be kind of interesting to see if they play some trickery here or if they kind of just try to do it full off of force and aggression.
Salem State out of timeout, so the inbounds pass becomes even more important. All right, see the referee there letting the coaching staff know that that is indeed the case. No timeouts. which again makes this inbounds pass very important for Kylie Gates.
It looks like we do have some confusion from the Vikings.
Matera, 3. Back to Gates for the tie. Off the mark. Bridgewater State survives 65-62.
Man, and that was a great game. And looking at Liz Zader with 20 rebounds and 23 points to her name, having the best stats game for the Vikings. And Ariel Cleveland coming up with 15 points, beating out Sydney Bradbury, the point leader of the Bears, with 15 points and 5 rebounds.
Again, a balanced scoring night for BSU. Fitzgerald 13 and 10. As you mentioned, Liz Zader, I mean, she took the game over with a 23-20 game. But overall, the field goals, you look at the differential, Bridgewater State just under 37% from the field. But, I mean, let's call this what it is. This game came down to the turnovers by Salem State in that fourth quarter, and Bridgewater State taking advantage of a few opportunities in the final couple minutes.
Absolutely. I think both teams really came out to play and definitely did what they set out to do, but the Bears just came out on top.
So that is game one. Game two, hopefully looking for an encore here. The men's team's taking the floor. We'll have that for you coming up in about 20 minutes here on the Bears Sports Network. For Caitlin Varia, I'm John Luck. We'll see you coming up at 7:30 here on the Bears Sports Network.